This show contains adult content. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sounds Like Crows. I'd like to thank all of our patrons, but this week specifically, Abigail Fennell, Catherine Drake, Chase, and Corin Lee. Thank you so much. Along with Kirby, Matt Stevens, Gary Oswald, Jonathan Turner, Jared, Kyle Neese, Ariel Weiss, and Greg Gray. Thank you so much. Music on the show was written and performed by Rudy Zuniga, Levi Rojas, James Quinn, or myself. Savage Worlds and Deadlands: The Weird West are owned by the Pinnacle Entertainment Group, who you can find at peginc.com. Now, this is our second to last episode. This is the last recording we've done for our Deadlands story. It's been a journey. Thank you so much for coming along with us. I'll probably have some more stuff to say next episode about it, but if you want to be in a place where you can talk to people about the finale, why don't you be like our Patreon supporters and go to patreon.com/soundslikeCrows. The lowest tier, $2 a month, gets you access to the Discord server, where a lot of nice people say a lot of nice things about the show, but there's some a few heated arguments recently, and I imagine those will only ratchet up as things come to a close. I know this is a shorter episode, but fear not. Next week, we're going to have Harrison and Cooper versus who knows. That's going to start next week, and then the second episode of that will drop the week after the series finale for this Deadlands story. Following that, we're going to do a few little mini campaigns in a couple of systems I've wanted to try with the Crow Boys as the cast to sort of give us a palate cleanser before we jump into something new. But I've been talking for too long, so with all of that out of the way, welcome back to the Weird West. The snow does not stop falling from the time the Crow Boys leave the ruined flagship train of Crane on to Tombstone. A quick scouting mission of his mansion informs you that him and his newly formed Arizona Rangers are on high alert. You could attempt some mission of stealth, but it would be incredibly difficult. Many patrols are surrounding the perimeter of his mansion. It seems the repairs have been underway for some time to repair the inferno the Crow Boys set upon his home, and now it is like a white castle, reminiscent of his home in Louisiana so many years ago, white sticking out from the deserty landscape around it. The Crow Boys have not managed to get horses, and so I think we see Harper cracking open the lock that holds the stables closed at 3 a.m. as the door slides open squeakily, and you boys step inside. Moonlight spills in. The snow is over a foot high outside as Harper, you step into the stable and look around for your horse. You notice a Blitz first, Ellis, as you follow behind, noticeable. And you walk up to his pen, and he recoils back from you, right? Doesn't recognize you at all.
Hey there, Blitz. Been a while.
He pulls back into the corner of the room of his stable as Ellis steps inside. Then we cut over to Harper finding Thunder in his stall.
I think he walks up and kind of leans on that door where the horses will lean their head out to greet people walking by. Oh, that's a good boy. How you been?
Thunder turns to look at the figure on the other side of his cage. What does Thunder look like?
Thunder is an American Mustang, so he has that yellow gold fur with the black mane and tail. He's big, he's strong, and he is beautiful.
As he trots up to the edge and gives us a snorted whinny, he sniffs at your hand and then recoils, like almost jumping backwards in that horse gait towards the back of the stall.
Oh, come on, boy. You gotta remember me.
Harper, you unlatch the stall, open it. We're going to run this as a dramatic task.
How many successes do I need, Caleb?
3 successes. Draw a card for you. If it's a spades, of course, you're going to get a -2. You're going to get a -1 from your appearance already. And if it's spades, if you fail it, you cannot ride Thunder.
I'm going to use a Benny. It's a 6, Caleb. 1 success.
How you doing over there, Harper? Having a little trouble with the horse?
I don't think he responds. I think he just kind of has his hands up and is just kind of trying to talk Thunder down.
Thunder's eyes are wide, looking between the metal arm and you, but he does seem to pull forward towards you, away from the wall. If you were just pulling clubs, Harper, I understand you're upset at me, but if you were just pulling clubs, there would only be a 25% chance that this was occurring. It's a clubs, man.
And then he plays club anyway, this guy.
Nope.
It seems for a moment like you have him as he comes towards you, sniffing at your hand, his wet nose touching against your hand, and then in a moment, he bolts past you, knocking Harper a few quick steps backwards as he lunges into the center of the stable and quickly turns to escape the stable.
Can we stop him?
I failed with the club, so no, we cannot.
Yeah. Lucky, while you cannot assuade Thunder to be mounted, I think the real part of Thunder was he had such an independent spirit, but there are many horses in here that have been broken to the wills of lesser men than even the crows. It won't take long to acquire horses that all of you can ride. They just won't be wild cards.
Lucky hoists Lori's, his sister's, dead body over his shoulder into a fireman carry. And by the time they actually make it to Tombstone, his baby blue vest has already been dyed a deep crimson red. And it's probably going to stay that way until the end of the show.
As Thunder races through the barn, Abel steps to the side, leaning back out of the way and watches it disappear into the night. He turns his bald head back to Harper, the light from the moon coming in through the cracks in the ceiling, illuminating his features. Harper, ain't that your horse?
I think Harper comes jogging out, kind of following Thunder to kind of watch him run off into the night, into the dark by himself. Well, he was my horse.
Abel stands next to Harper for a moment, and then in a gesture that is probably so unfamiliar as to be almost slightly uncomfortable, he puts a comforting hand on Harper's shoulder. Yeah.
Harper's head kind of drops and he turns back towards the stable. We ain't got time to waste. We got a crane to kill.
You are right there. We're gonna just, he gestures with his chin towards Lucky. We're just gonna burn her in there with him, right?
No, we ain't. And Harper stands up straight and kind of looks Abel in the eye. You can see that there was almost a tear welling up in his eye. She don't deserve this. She was caught in the middle.
Caught in the middle and in the middle of it are awfully close to being the same thing, Harper.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, she gets buried.
I fucking dig in a grave. One of you poor bastards can do that.
Fine. Not like you could do it with one arm anyway.
Abel turns away and starts stalking through this stable, looking for a horse.
Lucky's already haphazardly digging a grave beneath a lone, dead tree on the outskirts of town. He doesn't have any real digging equipment with him. He's kind of just using whatever he can find, either pieces of bark or even just his bare hands.
We just get a shot of the sky fading from night to early morning sunrise, peeking out over the edge of the Arizona flatlands. A pile of snow taken up by Lucky and Thaddeus before they were met with the hard packed dirt, cold and frozen, as they dug into that too. Now we find the Crow boys drug by what little obligation they have left to each other, surrounding this grave, waiting for dirt to be filled in.
After what seems like hours, the grave has been dug and the body has been buried. All the boys meet up together. Not a single word is spoken as they all look at each other. They solemnly know what's about to happen and what needs to be done. The mansion looms in the distance.
The crows ride like bats out of hell towards his mansion. This is going to be a dramatic task, y'all. I'm going to throw out the rule that if you have a spades or a clubs, you fail the whole challenge. But this is going to be you guys storming the castle. The exterior is defended by Gatling machine guns, patrols that surround the perimeter. You'll be able to approach the dramatic task however you want on the charge, whether it be riding, shooting, whatever rolls. I think 10 successes will be needed, and failure does not mean anything is ruined. Success is not taken away from you, but it will result in your character taking an unsoakable wound.
Oh.
Thaddeus, diamonds. Ellis, clubs. Abel, hearts. Lucky, clubs. Harper, hearts. Wow. Thaddeus, how do you lead your brothers towards the doom of your enemy?
You just mentioned a bunch of Gatling turrets, yeah?
Yeah.
So I think I would like to use spell casting to turn the guns on each other. And with that most recent advance, I'm rolling with a D12. But I got a 4.
We cut up onto the banister of the mansion as calls and shouts are given out, orders sent to the soldiers to stop the crows charging. Get a close-up shot of a grimacing young man who clutches back a large steel bolt on this Gatling gun, revving it to life as it spins. As he starts to pull the trigger, cut close to Thaddeus, raising up a hand, the spades appearing in his hand, and then cut back to the banister as it's like someone grabs the front of the barrel and rips it down so that it's facing the entire rest of the top balcony. The guy looks in horror as his fingers are almost glued to the trigger, just blasting apart a dozen men on the banister and disabling one of the other Gatling guns. And then the camera does a zoom out, and it's almost like we were zoomed in on the balcony and then all the way back to the crows, and you can see the puffs of smoke and wood lighting up the top balcony. So we go to Lucky.
Lucky's going to be trying to do a riding roll. And you said -2?
Yeah.
Success with a 5.
Cool. 2 successes.
Lucky kind of hunkers down on his horse, this no-name horse actually, and he kind of just bolts as fast as he can, trying to outrace the guns before they can get to full fruition.
A cannonball whips behind you, impacting the hard grassland behind you as you kick your horse into high gear. Abel.
Abel appears on camera, flying through that puff of smoke and dirt. He's riding like a cavalryman, no hands on the reins. Even if he did have both hands, they would be filled with pistols. Instead, he holds the horse tightly between his thighs, spurs digging in as that pistol flickers in and out of his hand, and he fires indiscriminately, particularly targeting those that look like they're aiming at Lucky. And similarly, Marshall, I'm going to roll a d12.
Beautiful.
12.
3 successes.
Nice.
5 done. Tell me the progress as you're ripping across the land towards the mansion.
As it zoomed back out, it's that shot of him just trying to keep pace with Lucky. He trusts his brother to ride, so he's just kind of giving that half of an eye and steering his horse to follow in the tracks, trying to provide as much covering fire as he can.
Harper is following up behind Lucky. I'm going to roll shooting as well.
The cannonball lands in front of your horse's hooves as it turns to like snake around it.
That is a 7. So I think we just get a shot of the team behind that cannon after they had launched the shot. You see, again, a cloud of smoke and dust, and then the bullet pierced through it, leaving that punch of fresh air, and then the man who fired the cannonball falls dead.
Ellis.
So are these guys firing cannons from some sort of like fortress, basically, right? What does this thing look like? What does this compound look like from the outside?
Yeah, so it sticking out like a keep from inside fortifications is this stark white mansion, but almost like trenches have been put up, or like foxholes, you know, like barriers to protect against charging cavalry. Cannons and Gatling guns have been put up against dug-in emplacements.
I think Ellis, having made his peace with his old horse Blitz, also on some rando no-name horse, just rides it as long as he can until it gets killed, and then you see him just kind of hit the dirt like a mist dispersing, and then it coalesces, and he runs all the way to this wall and just starts spider walking up it like some sort of ape. And whoever the first troops he finds on this wall, whether they be cannoneers or Gatling gunners, he just unghosts, and I'm just gonna make a fighting roll. So that's -2 with the clubs, but it's still a 6.
1 more success. We see just Ellis with his unnatural speed ahead of the crows, and reinforcements rushing out onto this banister, taking up, because you're imagining that you got to the mansion itself, right?
Yeah, the way I see it is I'm not necessarily moving faster, but I don't have to worry about getting shot. So I can just freely run up to the wall, right?
Yeah.
While everybody else is kind of
Yeah.
trying to take cover or keep their distance.
I think the shot we see then is like in front of Ellis, and bullets are just passing through him in untold quantities with a slight smile, and then he jumps up out of frame as the camera pushes back to the rest of the grows, and we deal another round. Thaddeus, hearts. Ellis, spades. Wow, this is very lucky. I can't believe this. Abel, hearts. Lucky, spades. Harper, spades. However, that is a pair on the table, so I can deal 2 more cards
In dramatic tasks?
in anything, man. If you want me to exchange 2 cards for spades in the deck, Marshall, you can decide who to deal them to instead of me. But if you don't do that, they're coming to you and to Abel to try to replace your 2 non-spades.
Yeah, Caleb, go ahead and put those 2 spades in there, because no, I like my queen. Thank
Wait,
you very
what?
much.
Great.
For this?
Abel and Thaddeus, if you could just rip up your cards for me.
These ones?
God, that's
Yeah.
brutal.
All right.
That feels real
You guys
weird.
are ripping it off good.
I literally feel like I'm ripping up my good fortune. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm ripping up a possibility of an okay future.
Yeah, we can't get that hard again.
Thanks, Thaddeus.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. I don't want to just keep using spellcasting, but how would I go about using gambling, huh?
Oh my god.
What would be an interesting way of making gambling rolls?
You're just riding straight towards a cannon, and it's like,
Oh,
you're gambling, man.
yeah.
Either that cannon goes
Chicken.
off and you fucking go out, or you make it.
I like that.
Where is this the shot of Thaddeus playing cards with one of these guys?
It cuts to Thaddeus. He's up on that balcony as the Gatling gun spews across the landing there, and he's just sat there with a pistol in his hand, and he spins the chamber, puts it down. All right. You feeling lucky?
In the midst of all this.
So as the camera swings back to the crows, we see Thaddeus in a reckless abandon we haven't really seen from him before, as he's trying to chase desperately after Ellis. It seems like the best way through is going to be right past a cannon, however, and well, he's sort of concentrating on keeping that Gatling gun focused on the wall, so I guess he's just gonna have to charge. And so we see a bit of a look of determination cross his face as he sort of stares down the barrel of a cannon and then raises up just enough that he can meet eyes with the man behind it, lighting the fuse.
Roll gambling.
That's a 4.
You got
That's
it.
a 1 success.
1 success. The fuse lights, and then we see your horse lunge over the banister, a lance found into the cannoneer's chest as the cannon shot fires underneath your horse's hooves. Harper, Lucky, whoever wants to go first.
You feeling lucky? Well, in lieu of the -2, I'm just going to be rolling shooting again. That is a success with a 5. So I think the shot that we get is Harper kind of down behind like a low brick wall. At some point during the scuffle, he has lost his horse, this no-name beast that he picked up at the stables. And he's just repeatedly popping up, taking a couple of quick shots, hitting the lever on that rifle, ducking down, moving to a different spot, leaning over and taking a couple more shots. And I think we can just kind of barely in the distance see the flashes of other men's rifles and cannons heading his direction, and then we just barely see those men drop one at a time.
Lucky.
Would you accept taunt if I were to, like, say, ride ahead and become like an easy target for almost everyone there?
Yeah, that sounds cool.
That's very
Lucky only in his mind apologizes to the horse that he's known he's brought into this suicide mission as he spurs him on to ride just a little bit above everyone else, becoming an easy target for everyone to see. Didn't pass, but I get a free reroll. And a pass with a 5.
The last success. As the attention of the garrison is taken towards Lucky, Harper and Abel ride to the flank. It's a montage of destruction and murder, as every soul that would stop the crows from entering the mansion is dead. There are some soldiers left alive, but the Crow Boys have made it to the mansion and push inside. You walk through the great hall that has been redone, but in the same style that it was when you were here playing cards and betting on things on the stage at the far side of the room. tile floors, fine wood all around you. The smell of something new in the air in this mostly empty room. Chairs are stacked up to one side, tables on the other. It's a dark affair except for the light spilling in from the door that pushed you inside. Ellis is leading the way towards where he knows the entrance is into the bunker that is underneath the mansion.
As Thaddeus is taking a look around the room and everything, he sort of idly puts his hand across some of these silk day pillows that are resting on a bench nearby. Sort of grins to himself like he had a thought.
Hey, Lucky. This here's a pretty nice renovation old Crane took care of here. You should feel the thread count on this pillow over. Here, check it out.
And he'll toss a pillow over to you as he's walking out the door.
I feel like they continue this stride as he mashes the pillow around in his hand. Yeah, it looks like a pretty flammable fabric to me.
Oh, that would be mighty dangerous now, wouldn't it, Lucky?
Lucky just kind of chuckles to himself and throws it to the side.
It's left smoking, but unburning. Ellis, you kick open an old imported wood door, spilling light into this small room. A single guard near the entrance scrambles up, leaving his gun at his side, putting his hands up. Behind him is an almost submarine metal door, some ghost steel fortification, stopping entry to the labyrinth that Tabitha Raines helped Thomas create.
Now listen, boys, no need to kill me. I ain't got no loyalty to Crane. I just started, please.
Abel reaches and snatches the keys out of this poor guard's hand, backhands him off to the side.
Hey, Abel, come on. We gotta keep focused. Look at this guy.
I got the keys.
I don't like your face, friend. Get the hell out of here.
You got a name?
It's so subtle.
He clutches his red cheek at the doorway.
Daryl.
He scampers out.
Harper points towards him as he's running up the stairs. I don't ever want to see you again, Daryl. I swear to God.
Y'all, I think I want another dramatic task.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Is this going to be an unavoidable wound also?
Of course. Of course.
The Crow boys start to fight their way through this submarine-like interior. Screams of both ghost rock and experimental subjects linger in the background, changed in frequency by their vibration in the ghost steel walls. Franks with chains appear, pouring out into a hallway the Crow boys find themselves in. The floodgates opened by some new scientist cackling maniacally. The green light hazes the gun smoke that's already rising from the Crow boys' pistols, as I'm going to deal some cards. Thaddeus.
Mm-hmm.
Joker.
That's probably fine. That's good, right?
Ellis spades, Abel spades, Lucky spades, Harper clubs. And I'm going to deal one card for myself for some reasons.
Does quick matter in this circumstance,
Oh,
Caleb?
it does matter. Thank you. Do I have to deal a 5 again as well?
Anything, it has to be higher than a 5.
Oh, so I have to deal another 5 after dealing you 2 5 of spades? Well, that's a king, fortunately. Is a spades. So that's a pair on the table. Thaddeus, I'm going to try to replace your Joker unless you want me to replace 2 cards in the deck with spades,
Hold
man.
on, Caleb. Where do you see a pair?
You've got 2, buddy.
He
Got
counts everything.
two.
He counts everything
that
in your
counts
stack.
everything?
Correct.
Yeah.
Every card dealt.
Thanks, Harp.
Yeah.
Nice edge choice, pal.
There's a pair of 3s and a pair of 5s on the table.
Here's the thing about 3s and 5s.
Yeah?
There's a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 on
Yeah.
the table.
I was just going to say.
And I've got a Joker.
I'm curious, does this Joker give us all a Benny right now?
It does, yes.
thank
Good point.
Well, my question is, Caleb, does it matter? Are you going to give us something worse than what you could do to us with a straight flush? And I get a +2 to my trait roll.
Yeah. 10 successes. Your brothers are likely. They got a 50% chance to acquire a wound.
Yeah, but I mean, I like the Joker. I like the +2. I can't be lucky forever. So, yeah, go ahead. Take those 2 cards, Caleb.
Great.
Are you
He's searching pretty far.
going to give me those 2 cards, Caleb?
Nah, just gonna.
4 Tauren cards on the table.
So, Thaddeus, I think you're mid-pack. You run your thumb on the side of the cards, feeling each one. And once again, you get that feeling like each individual card represents something like a different page of the book you're looking into. In one, you do extremely well, which is the one you choose to take, but you feel the deck take something from you. And I think down in the hallway, somewhere ahead of you, you get the briefest flash of a figure that maybe looks a little bit like Agent Mayhew. And it's your turn.
I think Thaddeus at first was readying his spear to charge into the first line of Franks in this hallway as they make their way. But in that moment, he realizes that would have been a fatal flaw. And he's going to take a couple steps back, and he's going to throw his spear down the hallway. But I'm going to use spellcasting again. Y'all ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
What you know about Yondu?
Oh.
That's my plan.
Ooh, telekinesis on that
telekinesis.
spear?
That's smart.
And I get it +2 with the Joker.
Yeah.
And the 6 blew up, but I was looking at an 11 already. Well, I got an 11 +2 makes it a 13. So I believe that's 2 raises.
3 successes of 10 needed.
So, yeah, we see him cock back, and for the briefest of moments, he sways into the perfect Olympic stance to throw a javelin. Then he stumbles forward. You see it kind of glow once again, that iridescent shadow, and he whips the spear as hard as he can straight down the hallway. And then when you feel like it's going to lose inertia and drop or maybe get stuck in one of these Franks, it almost picks up acceleration and rips through the back of him and makes impossible turns in the air, striking 2, 3, 4 more of these Franks and pulling them down as we walk forward.
Only a few of them are left, and a new threat appears. A few Arizona Rangers, pistols in hand, taking cover at the end of this hallway, taking shots down the chamber at you. Harper, it's your turn.
All right. Caleb, that's a failure. I'm going to be using a Benny because I'm not taking a wound. 6 minus 2 is a 4. So I think as these Arizona Rangers start coming around the corner, the first and second ones are just immediately hit in their torsos or heads with some of Harper's rounds from his rifle as he kind of cycles it and moving from one side of this hallway to the other, getting himself into cover.
Ellis, you're up.
All right, so this hallway is still filled with Franks. Is that what's the situation?
Yeah,
is?
I think Thaddeus has cleared a path through like a cannonball, but on the sides are still Franks.
Are they chained up?
They are all chained together, yeah, with chains leading into the rooms they were released from, like a massive chain gang.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to do fighting. Oh, what do you know? That 12 blows up. 21 minus 2.
4 successes.
All these Franks are chained up together. And what Ellis is doing is he's just ripping off limbs left and right from these things, taking off heads. And when he's done with one, he grabs that chain and pulls in another. They can't even get to the other brothers as he just pulls this chain towards him like some sort of like assembly line of murder.
Abel is running through these corridors now at breakneck speed. For him, it's flashes of light illuminating dark hallways mixed with the green glow of ghost rock lanterns as he fires again and again and again. There's not even a trace of hesitation when the Arizona Rangers come up in front of him. Benny. Gonna Benny it again. 7. As Abel is confronted by these Arizona Rangers, he guns them down without even a moment's hesitation as he loses himself in the frenzy of battle. I think in his mind's eye, the dark, claustrophobic, tight-twisting corridors of this base are blending with every other battle he's been in, and he's beginning to lose himself just a little bit.
The knots in Lucky's stomach begin to untangle as he realizes his brothers are almost like the horsemen of the apocalypse coming through and raising all would-be enemies. He pulls out his pistol and tries to clean up the rest.
The visions that plague your nightmares start to blend through into the metal conglomerate around you. Nooses fall from the ceiling in black knotted ropes, dripping with blood as you aim down the hallway.
Benny?
Instead of Lucky spending a Benny, if you want, Marshall, I'll exchange 4 cards.
Hey, how you feeling?
I got bennies. Let's go.
I've seen what happens when you spin bennies like that, right? That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, you're right. No, 4 cards?
But it's one card. Yeah, I don't have 4 cards. Feel steep. But how bad's 1 wound, huh?
Are there even 4 cards left in the deck?
Yeah.
At least we got that going for us.
I trust in Lucky. He's lucky.
Don't let Mama down.
You gotta do this, Lucky. You gotta.
Damn.
That's a 3.
Offer still stands.
This is the Benny burning phase of the combat encounter.
Yeah, I kind of thought I wanted to burn through all these cards and get the maces, but I feel like this is maybe a little too fast, guys. I think we gotta slow down, Caleb. I don't think I can do 4 cards at once like this.
Abel, you see 2 options in front of you. You see your brother Lucky getting shot, and then somehow you see a future where you raise your gun and shoot the person off him. And it's only a brief moment of you getting to choose between the 2. And you too, Abel, along with the rest of the crows, see the same nooses that Lucky sees, like vines growing from the ceiling down into a dank cave that spells your doom.
No.
Lucky, take a wound.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 is a lot.
Every round that this continues, we're going to add 2 successes needed to the dramatic task. Because
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Fuck
You
it.
son of a bitch.
Thaddeus,
We gotta go
ace of
fast.
spades.
Ace of spades!
Ellis, ace of spades.
Ace of spades!
Isaac, 7 of diamonds. Lucky, 5 of spades. Harper, jack of spades. And Unknown gets a 10 of spades.
Oh,
That's a flush.
That's why
That's
there's 2
a
more
card.
successes.
1 to Isaac. That's an 8 of spades. That's a pair on the table, 2 aces. Everybody's got spades, right?
Mm-hmm.
Deal 2 cards to Unknown over here. Any other conglomerates on the table? Don't think so.
No.
Ellis and Thaddeus.
You're the fast one. We all know it.
I mean, it's the same setting as before, essentially, right? Just more Franks and more Texas Rangers coming in.
Ellis, if you're going first, you see those nooses drop around you. And as you push through them and your brother's killing the rangers beyond them, there's like creatures let out, not unlike the blackish, gooey flesh of Morbo Mimosa. These small balls rolling on the ground, orbs of flesh, leaving sticky black residue behind them, with gnawing mouths bouncing down the hallway at you.
Jeez, I'm gonna roll fighting. I got a 3.
Now that there are the amount of aces there are in the deck, if you would like, you can treat all aces as jokers this round if you let me exchange 2 cards.
It gives you a +2 there, Alex, right?
Let's give me a +2.
That'd be a success without losing that Benny.
I'm not gonna take you up on that deal simply because we already got 1 free Benny this session, so I may as well use it.
Okay,
Good call. How many successes do we need, Caleb, for this dramatic task?
3 more.
Dude.
If anybody can do it, he can.
There we go. That's a fucking 11.
2 successes, 1 left as we go to Thaddeus. You see your brother in front of you ripping these things apart like cantaloupes.
Well, I think it's in this moment there's a spear that flies back across the screen over Ellis's shoulder into Thaddeus's arm, and then he's going to charge almost like a hockey player. He's got the spear tip close to the ground, and he's going to try to stab and scoop with these boys. And I'll be rolling fighting. That 8 blew up into a 7. Caleb -2. That's still a 13, sir.
You stab it, tear it apart, black blood pouring into your now matty beard. And as it slides down your spear, you toss it to the ground in a whip of blood and blackened flesh.
Do we have any of the Arizona Rangers that have fallen yet, or were we?
Yeah, as you throw down that, there's a moment of silence where I think it's become clear to you that maybe that's all this had to offer to stop you, and it was not enough. You look around to bodies of rangers around you, a dozen dead, their newly minted badges on their vests.
Hey, well, look at that.
Thaddeus will point to some of these bodies.
Looks like we had some lawmen down here, boys. Maybe it's time to swap out, right?
The next shot is from one of these corpses, as we can see Harper taking his bandolier off, throwing it to the side, leaning down and taking the bandolier off of this corpse and the corpse next to it, replacing the regular bullets in Grace, his rifle, with the lawman's bullets.
Well, that was convenient.
Yeah, just set them up here for us. Mighty nice of Crane, huh?
Well, he did always think highly of his rangers.
Well, that's the truth if I ever heard it. I guess let's give him a status report on those Rangers then, huh?
Could be that they were the last he had. Maybe this is all he has left in his arsenal. He's getting desperate.
This hallway you're in is a bunch of open doors on either side. Inside of them, various levels of captivity or creation of untold monsters. It's a long hallway. It's a good 8 yards to the end of it and 6 behind you. These nooses hanging around you, dripping with blood. when at the end of the hallway, you see yet another judge appear. Hooded figure, medals adorned on his body from his past life, his gray uniform turned to black with the blood of his victims. In his hands, he holds the companions to the pistol Abel now wields, 2 black steel-bladed revolvers. Thank you for listening to Sounds Like Crows. If you like the show, tell a friend about us or leave a rating or review on iTunes. We really appreciate it. Big thanks to Alexandria Machen, our executive producer, for all of her work. You can find her on Twitter at Alexandria Machen. You can find me on Twitter at Marshall Caleb. And then you can find Marshall Sims, who plays Thaddeus Crow, on Twitter at Mr. Malicious1. You can find my brother Isaac Sunstead on Twitter at Abel the Crow. Alex Horrell can be found on Twitter at Alex Horrell, and Cameron Reed can be found on Twitter at CJReed211. Cameron Day can be found on our Discord server if you tag him.